And the mayor of Chicago is saying that the president has declared war on Chicago. And it gets better. Mikie Sherrill, the Democrat candidate for governor of New Jersey, Mikie Sherrill does not like pork roll, which, as I said this morning on America's Newsroom, this race is over. Jack Ciattarelli is going to be the governor. He's going to win this race because Mikie Sherrill hates pork roll. I mean, come on. She's not from Jersey, and that's very obvious here. Welcome to the show. Glad you're here. 855-839-1210 on X at Rich Zeoli. Great to have you with us. There's also a lawsuit against the New Jersey Education Association. You probably remember this when the guy who is the president of the NJEA, this guy's name is Sean Spiller, ran for governor, came in fifth place in the Democrat primary. Fifth place, that's last, came in dead last, and spent $40 million of dues money to run for governor of New Jersey in the Democrat primary and come in last freaking place. That's right. So I don't know what to tell you other than that's corruption. That's Jersey. That's as Jersey as it gets. I mean, honestly, that is as Jersey as it freaking gets, if you ask me. So, yeah, it's great to have you. And we are going to talk about a lot of things as we continue on the show today, including the president and whether or not this shutdown, which they, of course, all say is the Schumer shutdown, if this is hurting Republicans or Democrats. Now, it's going to be a big day on Friday. Our rally in Wildwood, in North Wildwood at the pier, unbelievable. I mean, this is turning out to be an epic event with over 1,000 people who are registered and signed up to attend. I'll be doing the show live from there, 3 to 7 p.m., and we're going to have amazing speakers. Jack Ciattarelli is going to be speaking. Benny Johnson, Jack Sobiak is going to be there. Scott Pressler, I'll be there. Dom's doing his show at Mulligan's beforehand. That's the pre-show. And it's going to be just a lot of fun. So I want to see you there. Join us. You go to 1210wpht.com to sign up. This race is getting national attention, and for good reasons. Because Jack, I do believe, is going to win this race. Now, look, like I've said to you in the past, I am never going to get cocky, or I said I thought Trump was going to win, but then I also said, and this is the caveat, it depends on turnout. If the turnout is not there, if the numbers don't show up, if people don't show up, then the president was not going to win. And just like that, in New Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli will not win if the numbers are not there. If the numbers aren't there, he's not going to win. So Republicans turning out to vote, that's going to be everything. Why is that important? You say, well, turnout always matters because 400,000 of them stayed home in 2021. 400,000 registered Republicans stayed home. A big reason why we're doing this rally on Friday is to try to resurrect that excitement that we had for President Trump in Wildwood. Congressman J.D. Vance, Congressman J.D. Vance, when we were talking with Jeff Van Drew, and Jeff Van Drew has agreed to also speak on Friday. The rally for Jeff Van Drew in Wildwood was epic and historic. A lot of people from Pennsylvania came out because Pennsylvania was the must-win state. We spent no money in New Jersey in 2024, and yet President Trump only lost the state by 6 points. He's actually now more popular. His approval rating in New Jersey is more popular than his Royal Rugness King Philip the Unaccountable. That's right. Now, King Philip the Unaccountable is a jerk, and if you're Mikie Sherrill and you're the Democrat, you want to run away from him. Just like if you're Kamala Harris in the last election, which was a changed election, you'd want to run away from Joe Biden. But she didn't, and neither is Mikie Sherrill. In fact, Mikie Sherrill gave Governor Murphy the grade of a B. A B. You don't do that in a changed election. You give the guy an F, you give the guy an F minus. You don't give him a B. A B's like you're doing a good job. There's room for improvement, but you're doing a good job. This is why she's a terrible candidate. It's also why she said when she was asked the question, will you rule out raising the sales tax? And she said, I won't rule anything out. People were like, huh, what? Yeah, I won't rule anything out, she said. I won't rule out raising sales tax? Are you freaking kidding me? So she's a bad candidate. The other thing going in Jack Ciattarelli's favor right now, there's only 2 races in the whole country statewide for governor. It's New Jersey and Virginia. A lot of attention has been on Virginia in the last couple of days because the comments the attorney general made talking about killing the family of one of his Republican opponents, allegedly joking about it and having the kids watch as the guy is killed. And he's running for attorney general of Virginia. Sicko, total sicko. But this is what you get in this day and age where political violence is funny, apparently. There's nothing funny about it. And some whack job out there is going to hear that kind of stuff and say, all right, I'm going to do something crazy. Like I've said, it's one thing to have heated political rhetoric. It's another thing to start talking about killing people and watching their kids watch, having their kids watch. I mean, that's just beyond the pale of anything that you could be considered okay in political discourse, obviously. I mean, you shouldn't even have to say that. It should be just so understood. If Jack wins, it is serious momentum heading into midterm elections next year. It is a referendum on Donald Trump in many ways in this election. Why? Because Mikie Sherrill is making it a referendum. She has no message, and Democrats nationally are panicking about this race because they figured, it's Jersey, it's going to be easy, no problem. And the story's out there, and they're everywhere. Axios and all these other places that she's a bad candidate and she's going to lose. And Democrats don't know what to do. And there's nothing to do. She's made this race about Trump and the fact that she's a helicopter pilot. That's it. That's the whole race. That's her entire message, her entire referendum. Trump bad, and I'm a helicopter pilot. That's not enough. Can't win on those things. People want solutions. So then how does the government shutdown affect the New Jersey governor's race? It affects it a lot because Mikie Sherrill is a member of Congress, and she voted to keep the government shut down. You contrast that with a guy up in North Jersey. His name's Josh Gottheimer. He's a Democrat, bills himself as a moderate. He voted to open the government, keep the CR going, keep the Biden spending going. As I have said repeatedly, the only people who should be upset with keeping the Biden level spending going are conservatives because we're still spending money at record levels. But it's Democrats who are shutting the government down, and not because the Democrats are trying to be fiscally responsible. Don't fall for that lie. It's been proven now that they want to have health care benefits go for illegal immigrants, and lots of benefits go for illegal immigrants and people who are in this country who are not citizens. So they've debunked all that. But for Jersey anyway, it says to people, hey, do you want to see the state move forward? And Mikie Sherrill is just an obstructionist. At a time when you've got over 2/3 of people in polling saying that the state is on the wrong track, it's too expensive, they can't afford it. So Jack Ciattarelli has already run statewide once before, which is a huge advantage. Several other people who became governor of New Jersey ran statewide before. It's not a bad thing. The most recent probably would be Jim Florio or Christy Todd Whitman. Both ran statewide one time and lost, and then came back around, and then they won. There's a long history of that in New Jersey. So Cory Booker ran, I mean, he's run for everything, but eventually got elected U.S. Senate. But he's run for every office on earth, obviously. So it's not a bad thing. It's a tough state to get your name out there. And then when you get your name out there and then you run statewide and people become familiar with you, you tend to do very well the second time around. So I think all the metrics are going in his favor. It's a change election. The president is more popular than the outgoing idiot Democrat governor who, thank God, is term limited. Thank God. And people view the Democrats as obstructionists who just want to shut the state down and don't want to see any progress whatsoever. So all those factors, all those metrics then work in favor right now of the Republican candidate, which then sends huge messages for Donald Trump. And of course, Mikie Sherrill doesn't like pork roll, which is a deal. In my opinion, that's it. That's the end. That's the end for Mikie Sherrill right there. The fact that she doesn't like pork roll. And she said it. She's like, ew, who doesn't like pork roll? That's gross. Who doesn't like, ew? She got a really annoying voice, too. So I'll play that clip for you in just a second. But it's she's not from Jersey. Because you know if you're from Jersey or you're from this area of the country, you know what pork roll is. If you're in North Jersey and you want to call it Taylor ham, that's fine, too. But you got to know what it is. And she doesn't know what it is because she's not from Jersey. So she doesn't like it for that reason. This is why Friday matters. This is why coming to the rally matters. And if you're not in New Jersey, but you want to come out and you want to support everybody, that would be great too. That would be huge to help. Because if you come out and help, and if you do that, that'll be a big deal. It'll be a very, very big deal. And I think too, is the fact that we are going to need people in Pennsylvania who are going to come out and support Jack and also help and be poll workers and poll watchers. I should say poll watchers, organizers, door to door. We got a month to go. We got a month to go in this race. I mean, it's October 6th already. Election's a month from today, ish. And this is big. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And if this goes the way that I think it's going to go, then it's going to be a seismic shift in America. Matt, what number is Mikie Sherrill with the pork roll? Do you have that one for me?
Yeah, thank you.
Who eats pork roll?
Not me.
I think that's gross.
I don't even know what it is.
I've had this fight multiple times. Nobody wants pork roll.
Nobody wants pork roll. You know who wants pork roll? People that love breakfast. People that love breakfast who are from Jersey, they want pork roll and they love it. And they think it's great. And they think it's delicious because it is delicious. So pork roll, egg, and cheese, fantastic. You just don't want to overdo it and make it too thick. That's it. You just don't want to make it too thick, and then, in my opinion, you got to slice it thin. Yeah, I'm a pork roll snob on this. I think pork roll, egg, and cheese is a phenomenal breakfast. You slice the pork roll thin, and it's great. Do I think you should eat it every day? Of course not. Do I think you should eat it on the weekends? You pre-gaming Eagles game yesterday, which we got robbed, by the way, because it absolutely 100% should have been pass interference called on the Broncos at the end of the show, at the end of the game, I mean, and that didn't happen, and that's ridiculous. But if you're pre-gaming, if you're tailgating, like you might be doing on Thursday, then you definitely 100% want to have a nice pork roll, egg, and cheese. And you could have it for lunch, too. You could do a pork roll and cheese without the egg if you want to make it a lunch sandwich. I used to have that as a kid all the time. I would. We'd have that at school. Pork roll and cheese would be a lunch. Great. I mean, it's not Maha, but it's Jersey. It's signature Jersey. You can't get away from that fact. I think we can all agree on that, obviously. Here's something else, too, to think about in the context of national politics and the shutdown that's going on right now. Cory Booker, Count Grant's Angela Spartacus Booker and the Tears of Rage band, he 100% believes the government should say shut down. 100%. And he said as much. He's out there doing his histrionics and his grandstanding, hoping the government stays shut down. And Mikie Sherrill is helping to keep the government shut down right now and doing that. And it's just a bad look for Democrats. It's a bad look. It looks like they want to keep people. And as I've said to you before, if you're conservative and you're upset that they're keeping the spending levels going, that's one thing, but that is not what Democrats are about. The other thing Democrats are about is stopping the president from using federal law enforcement officers and National Guard troops to help clean up these cities. But they use federal law enforcement all the time and joint task force all the time. In fact, there's a show on HBO right now called Task, T-A-S-K. It's really good. If you haven't watched it yet, I highly recommend it. Comes out on Sunday nights. Mark Ruffalo, who's a huge freaking lib, but you got to leave that out of it. I leave my politics out of movies and TV. I can't risk it. If I enjoy a show, I don't care about the person's politics. I really don't. It's just irrelevant to me. But my point is, he's a lib, and he's in a show called Task, which is about a federal joint task force where the FBI works with Delco and Chester County and Montgomery County to go after these biker gangs and these people who are knocking off drug homes. And he's the head FBI guy in charge of this task force, which is comprised of a cop from Delco and Chesco and a Pennsylvania state trooper. And I think an officer from like Montgomery County too, maybe. And they're all in this task force going after this biker gang. They use federal joint task force or task forces to go after the mafia. Not that the mafia is real, obviously. Drug cartels, child abductors, child predators, auto thefts. They use it. There's always. Even as that fat, tubby J.B. Pritzker right now is slamming Trump and ICE on their thuggery, the state of Illinois is using joint task force with the feds on other things. I mean, if these were terrorists attacking the streets, you would imagine there would be a joint task force between the Illinois State Police and the Chicago Police and the federal government, Department of Homeland Security, to stop terrorism. Because that's what they've been doing since 9/11. And they were doing it before 9/11 in certain cities, but now it's everywhere. How do you make sure another terrorist attack doesn't happen? Well, you work with your federal, state, local law enforcement partners, county partners, state partners. You work together to ensure that you don't get hit by a terrorist attack. It's called common sense. So why would these Democrats be so opposed to this when it comes to ICE and when it comes to using the National Guard to help clean up the streets, and just not in a law enforcement capacity, just to be there for moral support? But in Illinois, you had federal officers who were attacked, and the Chicago police didn't do anything about it. They weren't allowed to. We have that dispatch call. We'll play you. So the president is obligated by law to use National Guard troops to protect federal law enforcement officers who are doing their job and trying to just do the job that they've been assigned to do, which is to protect the people. So why are Democrats so opposed to this? Well, A, they want to stop everything that Trump is doing. B, it's because they want to stop everything Trump is doing. And C, because they love criminals and they love illegal aliens. And they don't want to work with ICE and they don't want to work with the police. And D, it's because all the above. Mostly because they want to stop everything Trump is doing. So they think a good look for them, as we get into the fall and then get into midterms, they think a good look is shut down the government, keep the government closed, stop federal law enforcement officers from doing their job and going after criminals, and resist any efforts by the administration to help clean up crime on the streets of these American cities, where parents right now are worried that their kid might walk home from school and get killed in the crossfire of a drug cartel or a gang fight that's gone wrong. That's what they're worried about. But we somehow believe that that's a good look for Democrats. Yeah, let's stop that. Let's be obstructionists. I mean, they're idiots. But when you're led by people who live in a box, in a bubble, and don't think outside of reality of what people are feeling, they don't go to the streets and talk to people. They don't actually find out the concerns of the citizens, and they don't look at elections as wake-up calls. They don't look at elections and the results and say we should course correct. They want to double down on being the opposition. They want to double down on being the resistance, even though the polls and the election results and everything else say, we want to work with Trump and the feds on this. We want safe streets. This is what we want for America.